This is Winning Cures Everything. Here's your host, Gary Seegers.
All right, it is Wednesday, April 3rd. I am your host, Gary Seegers. You can follow me on Twitter at GaryWCE. You can follow the show at Winning Cures, or just make it easy on yourself. Facebook, YouTube, everything is over at winningcureseverything.com. It's going to be a quick show today. We got 4 topics. Let's go through them right now. Buzz Williams to Texas A&M is done. TCU cancels their spring football game. UCLA is working on a deal with Jamie Dixon. And a betting ticket, a futures ticket for Texas Tech that is up on PropSwap. We'll talk about how much it cost, all that kind of mess. So we'll get into that. First off, though, show brought to you by mybookie.ag, the best online sportsbook out there. Go check that thing out. It is an amazing layout, wonderful stuff. Go to mybookie.ag, use promo code WCE50, WCE50. You get a 50% deposit bonus. You put in $500, they're going to give you $250 for free. You put in $100, they're going to give you $50 for free. You put in $50, they're going to give you $25. That's the way it works. So go check that out, mybookie.ag. And because it is summertime, or getting close to it anyway, trendybets.com. You need baseball bets, and they've got everything, right? They've got college basketball, college football, NBA, NFL, name a sport. They got it. Go check it out, trendybets.com. They are the #1 sports betting website in the industry, sports betting system in the industry. I'm telling you, their profits are absolutely proven. Trendybets.com, the place to go. Use promo code MLB150. And you can get the Major League Baseball package for the entire season. That's normally $500. You can get it for $150. That's all 5 of their systems. They go through trends, analytics, everything else. They are already up for the average $100 bettor. They're already up $748 on the season. They average per season up $6,300. That is a pretty good profit, $6,300. That's all I'm saying. Share the show out for us, if you will. Help us out. Go to trendybets.com. That's where you need to go. MLB150 is the promo code. Back to this. Share the show out for us. Leave some comments. I've got the little machine pulled up where I can read all the comments from YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter all at the same time. Let me know you're watching. Let me know what you think of the show. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe to the podcast. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all that wonderful stuff. If you can't catch the show live, you can watch it on the replay at any of these places, or you can just grab the podcast and listen to it in your car. Much easier. Twitter, Facebook, all that. We've already been through it. Buzz Williams to Texas A&M is a done deal. This was the worst-kept secret in all of college basketball for forever. Here's the deal. These are all-time names at Texas A&M, right? You got grown men making millions and millions of dollars named Buzz and Jimbo, and that fits Texas A&M perfectly. I mean, these guys are dead on. You can see both of them wearing baseball caps. You can see both of them wearing cowboy hats. You can see both of them in a pair of boots, right? They fit where they are. I like the hire. It's a great hire. I thought initially, before everything was said and done, before A&M fired Billy Kennedy, etc., I thought Alabama would have a real shot at Buzz Williams, because, yes, he was an assistant coach at Texas A&M. So when he was at Texas A&M, he left there. He had a shot to go with Billy Gillespie to Kentucky, but he was offered the New Orleans head coaching job. He took the New Orleans head coaching job for 1 year. He went 14-17. This has nothing to do with Alabama, by the way, but this is how he got to where he is. He took the New Orleans job. He got frustrated at their lack of financial stability, and they were telling him that things were going to be done on a schedule, and they weren't, et cetera, et cetera. So he leaves his head coaching job after 1 season and goes to Marquette as an assistant. He is an assistant under Tom Crean for 1 year, and then he gets the Marquette head coaching job when Crean leaves for Indiana. He takes Marquette to 5 straight NCAA tournaments. He missed the tournament his last season. He bounces from there. Buzz is smart about understanding when to get out of a job, right? Virginia Tech, you're not going to be successful at Virginia Tech forever. So this was a good time to go on and bounce over to Texas A&M. The deal with him, why I thought Alabama had a shot at him, was the connection between the former Texas A&M athletic director, Bill Byrne, and his son, Greg Byrne, who is Alabama's AD now. Bill Byrne hired in Billy Gillespie from UTEP. Billy Gillespie brought in Buzz Williams from Colorado State. He was an assistant at Colorado State for the first time that they had made the NCAA tournament in however years, right? So I thought Alabama had a shot at him. Once Texas A&M came open, I knew there was no chance whatsoever. But good on them. I guess the question now, who is the next Virginia Tech coach? The AD, Whit Babcock, was the AD at Cincinnati. So you got to assume that Mick Cronin is probably involved in this somehow. It doesn't look like Cronin's going to get the UCLA job. Does he bounce to something that could possibly be a lateral move? It depends on the money. It depends on what Cincinnati's willing to offer him. We'll see what goes from there. Let's jump on to the next topic. TCU cancels their spring football game. The reason being there were too many injuries. They were short at a few positions. Most of the incoming freshmen are not going to be here until the fall. They didn't have a lot of early enrollees, et cetera, et cetera. So rather than go through the mess of a very unimportant spring game, Gary Patterson said, just forget it. We're not that worried about it. What I'm curious about is this a sign of things to come for this season? TCU was not great last year, and I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that they had a ton of injuries. It was all season last season, it felt like. Quarterbacks kept getting hurt, guys on defense getting hurt. I'm curious about this. Whatever the over-under is, I think their over-under is like 7.5 or 8. I'm probably going to go under that. I mean, that's rough stuff. You know, Gary Patterson's a great coach, but if you are having this many injuries to where you can't even field a spring football game, that's bad stuff. Bad stuff. If they're not even doing scrimmages, that's kind of ridiculous. Next topic, UCLA working on a deal with Jamie Dixon. I'm a fan of this. UCLA needs somebody to come in, teach toughness, get some of these kids to be tough. They will be able to recruit. Jamie Dixon was always able to get kids, but UCLA has never had a problem with recruiting. They've got the right ins with shoe companies and whoever else they need to be in with, and they're a massive brand in L.A. L.A. kids still would rather play for UCLA as opposed to USC. The problem that they've run into over the last few years is they are an absolute afterthought. And the Pac-12, while it is down, out there, there's still basketball talent out there. So UCLA, I think, is making a smart decision here by hiring Jamie Dixon. The funny thing here, the KenPom ratings for Jamie Dixon, right? If you look at what TCU was before he was hired. So he was hired in 2017. Now, we all know Ben Howland was at Pittsburgh before he jumped to UCLA. Pittsburgh replaced Ben Howland with Jamie Dixon, right? They didn't fall off at all. Jamie Dixon gets kind of run out of Pittsburgh because he can't do anything in the NCAA tournament. And, of course, we see where that's gotten him. But he goes to TCU, and TCU, we'll start in 2007. They were number 172 at KenPom, number 177 at KenPom, number 126 at KenPom, number 181, number 171, number 161, 265, 212. Then Trent Johnson got him up to 56, still didn't make the NCAA tournament, and then number 136. They brought in Jamie Dixon. In year one, number 29. Year two, number 24. This year, number 43, and he made it to the Final Four of the NIT. Jamie Dixon can coach. He can flat coach. But here's the deal. So UCLA, Ben Howland, they hire Howland from Pittsburgh, and then he stays there forever. He makes 3 straight Final Fours. He does good things, but it ran its course, right? And that happens in college basketball across the board. You run your course. Same thing in college football now. Everybody wants to know what the next great thing is. Well, Ben Howland taught toughness. He taught how to play defense. He had guys like Russell Westbrook, that they didn't look like the NBA version of themselves, but they knew how to play defense, right? They knew they did what their coach asked them to do. So I think they're trying to get back to that, and the person that does it as well as Ben Howland, but who is younger, might appeal to the fan base a little more. Jamie Dixon, I think, fits that mold because, as I said, Jamie Dixon followed Ben Howland at Pittsburgh. Now, yeah, there were a couple of dudes, or one guy mainly, Steve Alford, at UCLA that didn't really deserve the job after Ben Howland, but I think Dixon's going to do well. So Ben Howland at UCLA, Jamie Dixon right behind him. Ben Howland at Pittsburgh, Jamie Dixon right behind him. I think he'll get that program up to where it needs to be. Finally, we're going to close out with this. A $1,500 betting ticket for Texas Tech from November of 2018 at 200 to 1. Now, they are in the Final Four now. This thing could be worth $300,000. The guy that got the ticket, that bought the ticket, put in the bet. He is selling the ticket on PropSwap.com for $65,000. Now, the question I want to ask you, and I would like for you to comment or tweet or whatever and let me know, is that a reasonable risk? Should he make this ticket price less? Should he selling it for $65,000 when you got a chance to win $300,000? What would you do if you had the money and you realize all they got to do is win 2 more games, and they have blasted teams that are as good as the teams that are in the Final Four? Is $65,000 worth the risk to make $300,000? I want you to tell me. You let me know what you think. I'm very curious. We appreciate you taking out the show today. I understand it is a short one. I've got to run. I got to go pick up my daughter. It was a late show, but again, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you for being in. We do this every day, 10 to 15 to 20 minutes, roundabout, in the afternoon, sometime after 3 p.m. Central every day. Thank you. Share the show out. Leave us some nice reviews on the podcast apps, mostly, I guess, Apple Podcast. Yeah, that'll do it for today. We will see you guys again tomorrow. Thanks for checking out Winning Cures Everything. If you want to keep up with us, hit subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Visit the website at winningcureseverything.com, or you can like us on Facebook or follow us at Winning Cures, at Gary WCE, or at Chris B. Giannini on Twitter. Share out the show, leave a nice review, and make sure to comment and tweet at us.